Takiyah, count down from 10, 9.
It is say TK. You don't gotta go through all that.
Okay.
Make it easy.
Okay.
This camera.
Countdown. 10.
Countdown to 10.
So count down to 10. I'm on pass me.
Yeah.
This
This
camera.
camera, this is the.
It's
Camera
for your
10.
microphone, it's for your microphone check.
Oh, just say mic check.
Yeah.
Now. Oh,
You good?
mic check. 1, 2, 3.
You good.
10, 9, 8.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up with your camera? This is on.
Said
You
you-
go 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I'm camera 1. Are you ready?
You ready?
When you're ready, I'm ready.
So
Getting
which
it
camera?
start.
Which camera do I look at first?
The camera's good.
You will look at camera 3, which is Apostle,
Okay.
or the middle.
Okay.
Okay.
Go.
Not quite. Putting in the DVD for taping. And Apostle and I have to talk like this.
Hello, and welcome to Reflections. I'm your host, Pastor P. Y'all all know me. But guess what? I have and I'm in beautiful. I have a beautiful guest today, inside out. And her name is Takiyah Diamond. Yeah. And she has done some marvelous things. I'm gonna let her tell you. Introduce yourself to the people.
Well, hello to the audience of the Reflection television show. My name is Takiyah Diamond. I'm a personal development author, speaker, coach, and trainer in the field of personal development, financial psychology, as well as spirituality. Because we know that if your spirit ain't right, a whole lot of other things on the outside won't be right either. So, what I do is I actually help my clients and people who attend my workshops and read my books and things like that. And what I do is I assist them with identifying the limiting beliefs that they have in regards to living a fulfilled life, I think the main thing that for most people is they don't know how
Right. They
to
want
live a
to
right. They want to live a fulfilled life. They just really don't know the strategy or what it really takes to live a life that will actually make them feel fulfilled, So that's where I come in at and kind of show them, your limiting beliefs and where they came from and all that other wonderful stuff. So we can pull up the weeds and plant new seeds for a transformed life. Yes.
Now, how did all this come about? I mean, I know it's in you.
Am I right?
I know it's in you. But how did you want it, how did it come about and you bring it to the people?
To the people. Well, first let me share that I actually came from the music industry.
Okay.
So, being a singer and being a songwriter,
I get you back on here to sing.
Yes, girl. I might sing a little song for y'all probably, but
All right.
but as a singer and a songwriter, and I don't really want to call myself at the time like a hip hop artist. I'm just really good at what I do, and if I felt like the song needed a rap verse, I would give it to it. development world. So a lot of my fans started telling me, "You need to write a book. You need to become an author," because I was always putting up like positive quotes and putting up encouragement. But I don't think at the time that I was doing it that I really recognized what I was doing.
You know what? I always say, if sometimes if you don't know, people will tell you.
They will tell you.
People will tell you, and that's
They will
always
tell
if you don't know your purpose or your destiny. If you listen, and you have, if you
You'll
listen,
know.
they will tell you exactly what it is.
It's so
and that's
true.
what I learned.
That's so true. And so after realizing a lot of toxic stuff in the music industry, a lot of mind manipulation, a lot of deception, a lot of stuff that people don't know.
Right.
Most people see us on TV or whatever, and they just think like, oh,
Yeah,
she has
they
this
think-
glamorous life. Oh, she has this perfect thing, and she has all this money, and but no one really knows the work behind that, or what it took to get that, or the downfalls that it took, or the struggles of watching other people fall and making sure that you don't make the same mistake.
Right.
In that world. So as my fans begin to tell me I need to write a book, I need to become an author, blah 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 blah, I was cussing them out. I'm like, I am not an author. I'm a songwriter. I'm a singer. And then I don't know. Yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm not writing no book. That is not happening. But God said, oh yes, you is. And so I think one day I just I sat down at my computer. And I don't know where it came from. It just came out of nowhere, and I just started typing, and all of this information just started downloading into me. That's when this book right here, the first book that came out, which was Get Your Life Together. So you guys can see that, and you guys can find any of my books at TakiyahDiamond.com. But so this was my very first book, Get Your Life Together.
Okay, so exactly.
Yeah, you take that.
What through this details?
So, I'm gonna tell you the process, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the book.
Okay.
So, as I started writing, everything just started flowing through me, and I was typing, and I couldn't keep up. Like, the information was coming through so fast, I was like, and I was like, okay, Holy Spirit, I get what you want me to do, but I can't type that fast, and I can't take all this information like that. Okay, I accept the assignment. I accept. Okay, I was like, I'm not, okay. I see. And then I just wrote it all out, and then I went back and perfected it. But I just answered the call. I really just answered the call. And that book had a couple different names before it got to Get Your Life Together. One of the titles.
Life Together.
Yes, one of the titles that it had was Diamond's Divinity. And I think that the reason why originally that I wanted to title it Diamond's Divinity, one, it was my first book. Two, I wanted people to understand the divinity of me and the experiences, or not really the experiences, but more so like the wisdom that I was given to them, that it was from my divine self,
Okay.
And so after that, as I got ready to put the cover together, something said, oh, that's not going to be the title of the book. The title of the book is called Get Your Life Together. And I bust out laughing. I'm like, really? Really, God? Get your life together? And then I started laughing, but then I was like, that sounds dope. Okay, title change. Get your life together.
Get your life together. Mine's up.
Yes.
All right now.
Yes. That was all she wrote. That was all she wrote. From there, I published it. I'm a self-published author. I published it, and it has been still, and I'm on book number 5. And this,
What?
yes, book number 5. Okay. And this is the first one. And we'll read a little bit. We'll read a little bit from it, to help the audience out and stuff like that. But
Okay, well, I'm gonna get it.
yeah, Get Your Life Together was the foundation. It was the ground of discovering not only who I was, but what people were missing in themselves. And I felt like it was my responsibility to show them, because I had such a huge following and a huge crowd. It was like, if they're gonna listen to anybody, they're gonna listen to you. So this is the reason you're being given this assignment. And I did it, and I just never looked back. You know, I stopped doing music for a really, really long time. I think I'm just starting to kind of 5 years later.
Going back.
Getting a little bit back into the music thing, but because I know so much more now.
Yeah,
Now is the time for me to go into music, because now I'm a beast.
Right.
Nothing can touch me. Nothing can touch me.
You
No
know
stopping.
You got the testimonial in here. You got the ego. You got self-love. Wow.
Yes.
So what's the testimonial?
So the testimonials
Just a little brief.
are other people's
Okay.
testimony of how I helped them in their life and how they recognize my purpose and my passion, and how I help them to recognize their purpose and their passion just by being authentically me.
Right.
You know?
Mhm.
And so that's what the testimonials are really just other people's story about how I assisted in their transformation.
And then you got the ego. That's interesting.
That's a whole
interesting.
chapter. That's a whole book. I think this is a whole book on ego. So I know I was talking about ego on one of my lives yesterday, and I think that one of the main things that people need to understand when it comes to your ego is that we have this belief that ego is this, it's all about me. I'm this, I'm that.
I'm it. You
But
can't,
and that is one part of your ego. But there is a whole nother part of your ego that is playing a magnificent game on your intelligence.
Whoa.
Okay, and so the ego is the one that separates you from your desire. It's the one that tells you you're not good enough to do that. What makes you think that people are going to listen to you? Or you were abused as a child. Who do you think that you are to come and tell somebody? You know, ego is the antagonizer. It's going to come and it's going to, the moment that you want to move forward, it's going to come and it's going to, right. And the thing is, it's only doing that because it's trying to protect you. You know, it wants to protect you. And based on what you taught it, based on your own prior actions, your own prior behaviors, your own prior beliefs, and all of those things are what taught the ego what to do. So when you was in fear as a kid, like, the ego goes, okay, she doesn't want to feel good about this. She wants to be afraid of this. So let me bring more things in the picture that will help her to be afraid.
I got it.
So that's how the ego really works, and that's how you can identify it when that voice. One of the main things that people also need to understand is that there's a constant fight. There's a constant fight between your ego voice and your inner spirit voice. And it's like your ego and your soul. It's like the ego wants to fight your soul to speak the loudest, so that you can't hear what the soul is telling you, what the spirit is telling you. And so because this conflict is going on, you gotta be the person to get into your peace so that you can hear the right voice. Right. Because it's those voices, no, you can't get rid of your ego. The only thing that you can do is bring it on your team. And the way you do that is by teaching it the new direction that you want it to go. So now when it says, you're not good enough, you're going to say, of course I'm good enough. What are you talking about?
And I deserve this.
Yes. Thank you, ego. You know, that's who I used to be.
Right.
But who I am now, I don't need you to remind me of that anymore. What I need you to do is get on my team and remind me of how great I am. I need you to help to send signals out in my brain that says I'm powerful. You know, I'm magnificent. I'm productive. I'm successful. I'm financially wealthy and set. I have people who love me. I have people who support me. A lot of people.
All that positive.
Yes, because people don't fulfill their dreams. They don't have the support. But they think they don't have the support. The only support system you really need is already inside you. So it's like if you listen, that support will come. Like people will be drawn to you.
Once you make that decision and roll with it, then it'll automatically attract what you need.
That's it.
Is that it?
That's it. Because once you get ego on your side, and it knows now that you're not beat for or the other stuff that it's been playing on you, it's still gonna test you.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna get all the way over ego. It's still gonna test
That
you.
ego know you.
It knows you better than you know yourself. And in fact, I guess the main thing that people need to understand is that ego pretends to be you. It pretends. It steps in and it makes you fearful. But your true essence has no fear.
Have no fear.
What are you afraid of?
Right.
You are made in the image and the likeness of God, and all things come from above.
God has given us
And
the
within
spirit of
right.
fear.
So what are you scared of? What is there to fear? When the word says, "I've not given you a spirit of fear."
Right.
So when we fear, what is that showing us?
Yeah.
It's showing us that something else outside is controlling what's going on inside, and this is the reason why our life is all appearing to be distorted.
So what's the first step to try to get yourself back on track?
Is take a good look at your beliefs. Take a good look at your thoughts, and take a good look, a real good look at how you feel. At how you feel. Because your emotions are the thing that actually feeds that ego. It feeds your brain. It feeds your heart. And so we need these things to work together.
Right.
And so the first
to try to get them in line with one another.
Yes.
Okay.
So the first step is to, when you start to notice, like the first step will be to pay attention to what it is that you're paying attention to. Pay attention to what you're paying attention to, because as your mind is thinking about certain things, you'll be able to be the witness. Now you become the observer of your thoughts. Get out of allowing your thoughts to just run wild and then you jump on board with your thoughts. No.
Right.
I am the creator of my destiny. I'm the controller of my thoughts, unless the Most High puts something in my mind. When the Most High puts it in my mind, I already know what to do.
Right.
Anyway.
And I always say ego, to me, like ego, easing God out.
Edging God out. That's what we say. Edging God out, easing God out, it's fine.
Ease him out.
And that's the worst thing that you can do, because you need that voice.
Absolutely.
You need to hear when an old story is still running in your mind. And that's the main thing, is that we don't understand that the stories that we have attached to us don't come from us. They came from, you heard your mother say, money don't grow on trees.
Yeah.
Don't you ask me for nothing.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to, don't come ask me.
Just
I don't
like
have to.
so-and-so, just like
Right,
my father.
right,
just like that.
right.
Yeah.
So now, every time you behave that way, or somebody else says something similar to what your mother said, you get triggered.
Yeah.
Now that trigger takes you into this sadness, and it's like, well, maybe I am just like my father. Maybe
That
I
tape
am.
recorder that you.
Yes.
And you want to act on it. Your emotions
Yes.
want to act on it.
Yes. When we act on it most of the time in the opposite way. In the opposite way. But that's okay. Because even though we're acting on it in the opposite way, we have to be able to take a look at when opposition meets opportunity.
Right.
When you're facing opposition, that doesn't mean you get all flustered.
Right.
You take a look and you see the opportunity in that opposition, and you be like, okay, hold on here. This is my moment.
Yeah.
This is my moment. Even if it's ugly, this is my moment to say, guess what? I'm not perfect, but I'm perfectly imperfect with my imperfections.
Right.
I'm perfectly okay with the fact that I don't get it all right all the time. And maybe you should practice what I practice, that you're not going to get it right all the time.
No.
As intelligent as I am, I don't get every single thing right.
No.
However, when I get it wrong, I do the research to make sure I don't get it wrong again.
Don't do it over. That's insanity.
Don't do it over.
Don't do it over.
Don't keep doing the same things and expecting a different result.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna happen. You really have to make a decision that you are choosing to alter your mindset, to alter your heart set, and to alter your soul set, because your soul wants to come out, it wants to express itself, but it can't. It's not being allowed.
Being hindered.
Right, it's being hindered. It's
not.
not being allowed because of the stories.
Yeah.
Because of what's been running.
So how can one, and I'll speak, how can one find one true self. I know it's meant with God,
Right.
because He made us stuff, but according to your book, how can one find? Because a lot of people, they don't know who they are.
They don't.
So how can one find oneself?
Hire me.
You heard it first.
Hire me. I'll help you with that. But the main thing is to discover your true self, you have to make a decision that that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us run from the true self. And you wanna know why? Because we don't wanna face the demons that are a part of us,
Mm-hmm.
that we ignored for the longest because we didn't want to deal with
Right,
it. It's not until you be
So
like,
you have to head on.
yes,
Say, like, I'm gonna do this, I don't care what, but I'm just gonna, so I can move to the next place.
yes.
Yeah.
The next thing is forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Finding your true self is understanding that when you forgive other people, it's not for you. It's not for other people. It's for yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't care what that person did to you. Whatever they did, you know what? That is their karma, and they will have to deal with the consequences of how they speak to you, how they treated you,
Right.
how they disowned you, how they talked you down and made you
yeah.
feel worthless.
And you know what? And you could be mad, like, you could be mad with them for like 30 years or something like that.
And
And
you
they not even thinking about you.
They ain't thinking about you.
And every time you see that person,
You still in there.
and you still in that place. And that person like,
Done moved on.
no, they're not even thinking
Moved to
about you.
another state.
Not even thinking about you.
Got 10,000 new friends.
And we still holding it.
Right.
Still holding it.
So holding a grudge
Mm,
really, really, really hurts you.
yeah.
I want to share this with you guys, that we have a heart, and around this heart is a wall. Whenever we hold on to frustration, anger, bitterness, fear,
Stress.
and we don't let go of, like, it's almost like sometimes you can get into an altercation with your mate,
Mhm.
and then you could be like, your mate could be coming at you like a hammer, like jabbing you, right? But when you know who you are, you understand that that's your partner's pain.
Mhm.
Your partner is usually inflicting the unsettled pain within themselves
Mhm.
towards you.
Towards you.
So
that's displacement.
right.
Uh-huh.
So rather than holding a grudge against your partner, your best friend, your boss, or whoever, rather than holding a grudge, you can come from a place of compassion
Mhm.
and understanding that he's doing the best that he can do based on the level of
Right.
consciousness that he has.
Right.
She's doing the best that she can do based on the level of consciousness that she has,
Mhm.
based on how she grew up, based on how he grew up. So it's not until maybe you meet with a group of people who are like me, like-minded people who have a different level of thinking,
Mhm.
that you can see your mess
Mhm.
of how sometimes your mess will mess up somebody else.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
I
you
believe
could
that.
be on a whole nother track, and then that person could come in and literally take you off track because they are not choosing to heal themselves. They're choosing to hold on to the
And that's something
grudges.
because there is people, and I know a few, but there is people that their life is just drama.
That's it, and they live for that.
Just drama. I mean, just drama. And if the person don't have drama, they'll think of some drama. Get some
Right.
drama from somewhere.
Like, look, if you're gonna do the job, at least get paid for it. What's wrong with you?
I mean, it's always something, but it's always something. It's always something.
Yep, I know exactly what you mean, and that's okay, because you know what? Those people who are addicted, I'm gonna say this like this:
Mhm.
we are all addicted to patterns.
Mhm.
Those people who consistently call drama into their life unknowingly,
Mhm. It just draws to me.
they draw it into them because they're not fulfilled within themselves.
Mhm.
However, they also have to learn their lessons. So just because you want somebody to get it and stop the drama
Mhm.
doesn't mean that their
They
lesson
want-
is learned.
right.
Maybe they might need a little
Little
more
more
drama
drama
in order
to
to get the
see.
lesson.
Mhm.
So that's when you have to just
Let
step
it
back.
go. Let the drama roll.
Let the drama go, because guess what? That's their drama. why you putting yourself into somebody else's
You
drama?
won't get their drama.
I could very well look at a person that's in the midst of a bunch of drama, even if they're trying to trigger me into drama. I could very well look at them and be like, okay, I see where this is going. So I have a choice to diffuse this, or I have a choice to infuse it. And now we could keep going back and forth, but as we go back and forth, it's my ego playing and your ego playing. So me and you not fighting each other. Our egos are fighting each other. And so that's why after the fight is over, it's like, come here, baby, I love you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Why? Because that's your true heart. Your true heart recognizes that in that moment, that was something else that was controlling the both of y'all. Even that moment that you had that thought of, I just gotta be right. Let me just make her feel like this. Let me just make him feel like that. That's not your true self.
Right.
Ego does not want to make. Your soul self, your spirit self, does not want to create drama for you, because your original essence is peace. Your original essence is love. So the moment that you step out of that, doesn't mean that don't address things that make drama filled. Right. You know, it don't mean don't address it. Right. You gotta address it, but see, when the drama comes to you this time around, it's going to show you your growth. It's not about is the other person getting it or not. They gotta get it in their own time.
Right.
Your response to their reaction is it solidifies your growth. Not theirs. Not hers. Not his. Not the teacher. Not the doctor. Not nobody. Not mama. Not that. It solidifies your growth and how you are expanding. And if they are meant to stay in your life, they will have a choice to expand as well and get past that. Otherwise, it will be a lot of friction, and chances are the friendship won't last, the relationship won't last, the job with your boss definitely not gonna last, because now you arguing with your boss's ego, and he already got it, or she already got an ego, because he a boss.
Oh boy.
And then you got somebody like me that comes in that can work for somebody else, but also be an entrepreneur. I understand the boss's perspective. However, I can handle the boss a whole different way. To where I've had plenty of people who, like, when they first meet me, they're so judgmental. Like, oh, she's beautiful because I'm a beautiful person. And my spirit is so loving. They don't know how to take it.
Because a lot of them don't even know that. They don't even know, so they really can't identify.
They can't identify with what I'm showing them. And so then it'll take, like, after about a week or two, they always fall in love with me. It's like, girl, you wanna go out with me? Like I said, I really need you to come into this movie. You wanna come into this movie? And I'm like, 2 weeks ago you ain't like me. You sure I'm the person you want to go with you to? You know, they like, yeah. I want you to go. So I love it. And I love being able to be me. I love being my authentic self. And I love being in my own power, because I recognize that I don't owe anybody anything. I don't owe anybody. My journey is my journey. When God calls me home and it's time for me to go, we don't toe hands.
I can't hold you.
And travel. Don't go that way. It's like I'm responsible and I'm going to be judged for my stuff. You're going to be judged for your stuff. I know I'm going to be judged right, because I try to help everybody out of it. But I'm not going to, for anybody, I'm not going to, as I'm rising up, I'm not going to come back down there with you. If you choosing to stay down, I will not come down there to get you, to bring you up. But if you see me rising, you have to make that decision in yourself to rise with me, or there will be no more. And it's not going to be nobody's fault. It's just energetically you no longer match. And you can't have a harmonious relationship or friendship or work if this is just unequally yoked, as we would say. And that's in all areas of your life. It's not just your relationship. This is in every area of your life. All your relationships with your parents. If you and your parents are unequally yoked, guess what? You don't get along with your parents. If they're not on the same page, calling them is like dread. Hey, Mom.
I hear.
Especially if she's a nagger complainer, right?
Here we go. Oh, let me get ready.
Hello?
Let me get ready.
Hey! Look, this is the fake smile coming. Hey!
Yeah, yeah. That is so true, though. That is so true. And it's something that a lot of people spend their life like that. A lot of people don't even remember what was it about.
Right.
What was it
Why
about?
don't we speak? What was the argument?
Yeah.
And then you know what? Usually 2 days later, you don't even remember the argument that you had with the person because now you're in a whole nother energy.
Yeah.
You're in a whole nother place.
Yeah.
And I was like, you forgot all about it because what happens? Love takes over. True love, unconditional love takes over. That I could love you despite all of your stuff. I don't have to hate you because of whatever. I could dislike what you did. I could dislike your behavior. I could dislike, but to hate you does not help me. That hurts me. That hinders me.
That's a powerful word right there.
Every single thing that we do to ourselves, we do to others, and everything we do to others, we do to ourselves. And once we understand the power in that, when the word says to treat people the way you want to be treated, or love your brother
as you love
your
yourself.
right, exactly, and that is imperative because the moment that you start putting out that hate energy and that you don't have to do that. You can love people from a distance.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of energy.
It takes way too much more energy than I got to give.
You be thinking of hurt that person, you be thinking of all kind of ways. That takes a lot out of you.
A lot. And the next thing you know, you're just like, pooped. You're like, look, I can't argue no more. I can't debate anymore. I get to the point where I write you a letter. You read it, you don't. That's you. I'm gonna release it from me though. That's one of the main things, is releasing it from you.
So you can
I'm gonna let it go.
So
You can continue to hold on to it if you want to.
Yeah.
That's up to you.
So you can move on.
Exactly. Because the key here is for each and every one of us to free ourselves. You know what I mean? And to understand that we have that support by a realm that's so much more bigger than who we think we are. And then there's this the human experience that we're having right now. We have to cherish it because we came here for a purpose and we have a reason. And we will be surprised at how many of the heavenly beings are envious of our human existence. And
they are.
And we're envious of their right? It's usually like that, but that's okay. As a human, it's our job to come here, show up, and show out for the Most High. And how we do that is mimicking the image and the likeness of Him rather than choosing.
He is love.
He's love. Rather than choosing to duplicate other people's behaviors who do not know what the representation of love is.
And if you don't know yourself, you're going to duplicate somebody else.
Right.
We're going to get this. It's number 5.
Yeah, so we'll get into that. I think it's time for a break.
This is number 5 on his thing.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Yes, number 5.
The power to profit.
The power
We got
to profit.
the power.
The power.
Can you see this? I want you to see. Can you see this here? Wow. Oh,
Nice.
picture of oh, beautiful.
If you got his legs kicked up just like we do.
Beautiful. The power. Get in there. There we go. The power to profit.
Yes.
Wow.
The power to profit. And read the subtitle. What does it say?
Okay. It says the wealth.
Consciousness.
Because my I don't have my
You want your glasses?
But the wealth, consciousness, and self-mastery guide to abundance. I did pretty good on that.
Yes.
Wow.
You did really
The
good.
wealth consciousness.
And
So
so,
you gotta be conscious of these things.
yes.
So we just take again of some of your.
Yeah, I'll definitely read a little bit from that one too
Okay.
before you guys, and
Just got the money and let me see.
and so the power to profit.
So before we go to this one, do you want to read something? For
Yeah,
me?
I was just gonna say that, like maybe we could do a little bit
right here.
what I was
So
doing.
you
Do we
give
need
us
to
a-
take a break or we okay?
I think we good.
We okay?
We good.
Okay. So what I will do is I'm gonna read to you guys the synopsis of Get Your Life Together. Now, this book is also available on audiobook as well for those of you who are lazy and don't want to read it. And you can press play. Now, if you have a problem pressing play, I can't help you, okay? I don't got nothing to do with it.
Right.
But, okay, so let's talk about the synopsis. All right, so the synopsis says, do you believe that life just is the way that it is? Break the mental chains and find out why it really isn't. It's easy to blame society or other people for our problems, but what if I told you that most of the problems you have today, you created them yourself? This guide will show you why that happens by giving you understanding of the root and core to these issues so that you may pull up the weeds and plant new seeds for a transformed life. Become enlightened on why you're stuck and learn how to get unstuck by simply making a choice to learn a few secrets that will help you get your life together. With lessons like why you should never mix business with pleasure. And if you do, learn the keys that it takes to make that relationship work for you rather than against you. Next one is no more drama. We just talk about drama, right? Learn the reasons why putting people in your business is bad business. Putting people in your business is bad business. And I talk about that in here. Two can play that game. Why tit for tat will only destroy your friendships and your relationships, creating trust issues that cause you to lose yourself and not prove the point that you intended to make. This guide will wake you up and it will teach you the elements of living from a limitless mindset so that you will have the clarity in knowing the do's and the don'ts that it takes to get your life
Together.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
So
now, so the secret, you gotta get the book to learn.
you gotta listen.
you gotta purchase
I gotta
the book.
subscribe, follow me, something. Okay. But you guys can definitely do that. Again, the website is TakiyahDiamond.com, TAKYAH, diamond like the ring, just the way you see it on the screen.com, where you can actually take a look at the Minds Up Transformation catalog, where I have all the personal development books there, and you have an opportunity to alter your mindset. You have an opportunity to alter your life.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to alter your skills. You know, and I think the main thing in this guide is understanding that we really have to become. I'ma say. We have to I want to say it in layman's terms so that y'all don't get too confused with my language. My language could be a little, up there. But cognitive dissonance is what it is. And what cognitive dissonance is you consciously deciding to disown whatever the story used to be, whatever it was, whoever you used to be, whatever that story was. It's time for you, if you're going to teach it and tell it, but disown it. You should not still be emotionally attached to the story. So you have to consciously, cognitively disown dissonance.
So when you tell it, there's no emotion.
Right, so where there's no emotion. It's like you tell the story, like, you know what, this is what happened to me, and because that happened, it happened for me. This way, your audience don't get sucked into the whole victimization, and now it triggers them into victimization. You want to say,
they start thinking about their thing.
Yes, you want to share, like, listen, this is how I made it through. My story is to tell you that no matter what you experience in life, the turnaround is always available to you if you walk in the turnstile and push the thing there and turn it around.
It's there.
Push whatever's in the way out the way so that you can turn it around. As long as that thing is in the way, you're going to always move a little bit, get stuck. Move a little bit. It's like the revolving doors that you got to go through, when you go into certain buildings. You're going to go a little bit, you're going to get stuck. You're going to go a little bit, you're going to get stuck. But if you move it out the way, when you open up a regular door, you just open it and you walk on through, right?
What's that thing through?
That's it. So that's how you get through it. So a lot of the chapters in Get Your Life Together is really helping you understand how you got in those issues. And things that you need to do to not repeat
Right.
the same
That
cycle.
Yeah.
It's patterns, God. Like, we don't have money problems, we have money patterns. We don't have relationship problems, we have relationship
So
patterns.
when we have patterns, do we? Is it a unconscious thing, or we just
Absolutely.
It's just unconscious.
It's unconscious originally,
Mm-hmm.
because most of us follow the patterns of our parents.
Right.
So if we saw that it got like for guys who are cheaters,
Mm-hmm.
they probably heard that their dad was a cheater,
Okay.
or they watched their dad cheat on their mother, and as they were a kid, they were listening to the words that their mother was saying about him cheating, being a dog, whatever the case might be. Same thing on the other side for the woman. If you watched your mother be out there, and she was out there like getting money in her unique way, I'm just gonna leave it
That's
at
all
that.
what they see and all what they know.
That's
they don't
all
know
they see.
anything else.
The way that the brain works, it can only play back to you what's in it. So the way that you alter that is by, you have to train it to focus on something else. You have to train it to like, okay, I know that this is what my father did, but I'm making a choice to not do the same thing that he
Because
did.
I'm not my father.
Right, because guess what? I can't help who my father is. I can't help who
And
my
he
mother
had a reason,
is.
and he didn't know.
And he did the best that he could do while he was
In
on
his-
that level.
in his-
She did the best that she could do while
Right.
she was on that level.
Right.
In the end, when you really just grasp that thing and you recognize like all of the little stuff that came from other people that really didn't have anything to do with you, that's when you stand in your power. Because now you're like, hey, my mother was crazy. my dad was, he was a piece of work. But that's how the pattern gets started. The pattern gets started by us being the observer of the other people who we grew up around. Even sometimes our friends, like if you are, most of the guys, if you got a guy friend and most of your male friends are players, chances are you're gonna tap into that world in some way or another. Unless if you grew up in a household where people were always married and there was foundations and there were ground rules of respect and dignity, guess what? That's gonna be your pattern. So the person that you meet that comes into your life is gonna love and appreciate you because you have a completely different blueprint. Your blueprint is different. The pattern is different. So if you keep attracting the same type of mates, it's because you haven't altered the blueprint. You still operate on the same blueprint of, I'm not good enough, I know he's gonna leave me, he's probably gonna cheat on me, or whatever the case might be.
You're actually gonna make it happen.
You're the one that's creating the madness, as opposed to you. Just allow the process to happen. If it's meant to be forever, it will be forever. If it's not meant to be forever, it's okay because you still learned the lessons that were necessary so that when you get to the next person who is a match for you, you will know how, it will be a different type of
for
thing.
time purposes, we're gonna get into that when we
Yes.
So next, excellent. Go ahead and get that book.
Okay, yeah, that's no problem. Yes, you
So
did.
I wanna-
Everybody should start here.
Yeah.
I'm telling all of you guys who are watching right now, start with get your life together. Start here, and then go up the ladder into the other books of them. But don't skip this.
No.
Don't skip it. Don't skip it because what's in it is going to teach you so much about who you are and who you are not. And who you've been faking yourself out to be. Because you only playing yourself. As they say, like, you can't play on God's intelligence.
No, you can't.
The only intelligence you can play on is your own. And if your intelligence is being played on, it's because it's your ego playing on your intelligence, making you think that, it's just so much. I told y'all, hire me now. Coach with me. Coach with me. No, really, seriously though. As a life coach, these are things that you have to know. If you don't understand the ground basics, then you can never get to the next level of what's in that. Because in that book, I'm taking you into your DNA, changing, altering so much of your brain cells, your wiring. Like, I give you the how you got there in here, and I give you some solutions in here. By the time you get to that, you'll be so confident because you read this book.
Wow.
So your confidence is going to
Extraordinary.
skyrocket, especially when you read like a chapter like self-love. Especially when you read a chapter Love Don't Live Here Anymore.
All right.
And see, when you read a chapter like Love Don't Live Here Anymore, and you get to understand why love doesn't live in that person anymore, you realize how sometimes you'll sacrifice yourself for the wrong person. You will give all of your love to the wrong person. And you will end up suffering because you're going to be unhappy.
Wow.
So you could either keep these patterns and keep these things and continue to live your life the way you're looking at it, or you can alter the pattern, alter the blueprint, and choose to live your life the way you want to.
All right, you heard that?
That's it?
You heard that? She
Yeah.
power.
Are you listening?
Yes, she Now, we got a few minutes here. You
Okay.
want to say a little bit about?
Sure. Here, we can sit down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll read the synopsis to you guys to The Power to Profit. All right. Do the wealthy think and grow rich? Of course they do. However, there's so much more to being a master of money besides thinking about being rich. Internally is the power to transform your DNA, which controls the life you experience externally. It's time that you know the truth about money and gain access to the wisdom that generates more of it to you from the inside out. You can release the struggle mentality that you have inherited.
See, it can be done. It's the
Inherited. Inherited.
I hear you.
Those things, you inherited that stuff.
I hear you.
Okay? Sorry, let me find my space. Y'all know I start getting all emotional. Okay?
Awesome.
Yeah, okay. So it was passed down to you. Wealthy habits are what get you in the money game. I'm sorry. Wealthy habits are what get you in the money game. Consistency is what keeps you in the money game. You are not bound by your genetics, but they do impact your life in so many ways until you develop your abilities to master yourself and your own mental well-being. This guide will show you how to make money a magnet to you, how to alter your money blueprint to draw money-making opportunities to you that allow you to make more money, more than enough money to share and spare. And multiple ways to do it, because I also break down here different ways that you can actually make more money. So I don't leave you hanging. I don't just teach you to do it. I'm like, look, this is what you right, okay? A wealthy lifestyle can be your reality now. Your desire to change must be greater than your desire to stay the same. I'm going to repeat that line. Your desire to change must be greater than your desire to stay the same. Obtain wisdom of the ages to accessing your external and internal power to profit. Yes. So, 1 minute? Okay.
So do you believe that? I say that to every level you have to be a different self. I mean, yourself. Because you are so different you are.
Absolutely.
Every level is
Absolutely. There is no way you can become or achieve something different in your life by being this identity that you have adopted now. If you have the same identity and you go try to create a wealthy life, you haven't altered anything within yourself. So I talk about that in this book, how to alter your self-image. Your self-image must, you might as trash the old you. Trash it. I don't care if you gotta relocate, go move in the basement, do this in my way, figure your life out. But you have to disturb it. Like, you get what I mean? So I think that a lot of times people think that you can just change it, but without the disturbance. I'm not talking about distracted. I'm talking about disturbing it completely. Like totally derailing it. And saying, you know what? If I want change, that change begins with me first. So I gotta change me. And if I have the expectation of the other people that are around me and I want them to change, I
You have
gotta
to
be
the
that
first
change,
partaker.
and then let that
Right,
rub off
right,
on
right,
them.
right. You gotta be the first partaker. I got you, girl.
So yes. So this book, The Power of Profit, will really, really help you get your finances together. I say get these as a gift set. Get both of them.
Christmas
Give them,
coming,
yes, a gift set.
Good gift.
Listen, holiday time,
Get them
birthdays, weddings, whatever. I don't care. Because people need it. They need the wisdom.
Yes.
And so you can grab this wisdom at TakiyahDiamond.com.
Well, Takiyah,
Yes.
I want to thank you.
Of course.
I want to thank you for coming on this show and enlightening us.
Yes.
Am I right? Enlighten us. Thank you for watching Reflections. Thank you for watching Reflections. Remember, you are blessed and highly favored by God.
Yes.
God
you
bless
are.
you. Love you. Thank you, girl.
You welcome.